I really miss Dan singing us in.
Yeah.
The man could riff.
Welcome to things we should have done differently to start the stream off. Tonight, we realized we should just go live a while ago and just, like, leave a waiting to stream to start screen page up.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
sensible.
I mean, it's not like we're doing this and trying to have any professionalism.
I have never been a professional in my life.
Where is Dan?
Professional
I feel
asshole.
we're missing out.
Do people get paid for this? Because that'd be nice.
No, none of us get paid. In fact,
Yeah.
honestly, I think all of us have put money in, and so it's technically a losing. It is a negative income system.
I have put art in, but I
So,
count that as money.
Classic hobby.
Fuck you! It's a profession. I'll fight you.
Well, not the art. No.
Now he's done it.
Oh no.
Darby, stop threatening to fight people.
Put your shirt on and sit down, sweetheart.
You want it off. Shut up.
Sit down.
I forgot why we're here. Oh yeah.
Um,
Thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Aderjaeger. Yeah, shit like this just happens every night, guys. It's not been what, 2 weeks? Oh, hello.
Who goes?
No, sorry. Anyway,
Moving on.
What was that?
That
that was someone who doesn't read the rules.
We had a guest player, and now they're dead.
Yeah, well, they're in another chat. Anyway, last week the party had finally started to see the benefits of taking down this strange white adder that they'd encountered in the mine. You all had finally seen some of the strange parts that this adder had. Now, the sad part is you all are struggling financially right now, with a fairly paltry 16,000 Reichsgold remaining after paying for someone to harvest the thing. And you don't even know currently what value you'll receive for any of this material. The blood's corrupted. The shards, you know, at least are good, but shards aren't a core.
Nope.
What have you all planned over your night of rest between when we last met?
Well, at some point Jurgen does need to go and speak with the engineering guild about getting that 10,000 Reichsgold bounty for killing the thing. Or at the very least, tell them that, hey, it's dead, we're going to be getting the body out of there, and the job will be done soon.
Just as a correction, it is actually the mining company, not the engineering guild.
Oh, right. Yes, you're correct.
Victor is from the engineering guild, but he is questionable whether he's been all of that much help, considering he's mostly burned things down. But are you planning on just leaving by yourself again this time?
No. After how that went last time, Jurgen's probably been hanging around camp until people are feeling better, and probably going to grab a couple of people to go do that job. Since the road is, a little shady.
Sigmund slept off his concussion, which I think is not protocol for concussions, but apparently worked really well when
Typically, you're
adder
not
humors
supposed
are
to.
involved.
But you do technically have adder blood circulating in your system right now, if I remember correctly. So apparently it's okay to do that.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Waltra.
Narrator voice. Everything was not fine.
Speaking of Waldshot, there's two of you that are addicted right now to humors, aren't you? Just to bring everybody watching back up to speed.
Not it.
One of you got really close to it, too, if I remember correctly.
I believe I'm addicted to humors.
Yes, you are. Bertold is still, though you're getting very close. Well, if you would stop getting injured, you would be very close to
Wait.
not suffering from addiction.
Isn't Berthold
Yeah.
the one who didn't need it though? So he's still going cold turkey. He's one of the ones who didn't need it.
Was I? I don't know. I had 6
Yeah.
wounds.
Yeah, because we.
Once it went over to 7, I think is when you used to start
Yeah.
using stock.
And
'Cause
it
I
was Zygmunt and Elena who both.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Because we kind of screwed up trying to get at the core.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So actually, give me a color roll there, Berthold.
All right.
See here. You're right. That has been almost a week now. That succeeds. I'm gonna say you can uncheck your addiction, but it's gonna feel like one of those days today.
Okay.
Can I check?
No. you just got that debuff. You go a week without needing it, and you can check. How's that?
Yeah, harm clock stuff. Does that also go down?
If you everyone got a night of rest, so you will reduce it by your whatever your healing rate is.
I don't remember what my healing rate is.
If you got healed successfully, it's down to 2. If you got healed semi-successfully, I think it's 1. You're down 1.
Okay, I think I'm down 2 then. I think I remember.
I think I think Brita went on a healing spree and nailed everybody down.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I think Brita was mad because she healed me to full and healed somebody else less.
Because mine was a 2. I mean, I guess we can go back and look at some of these rolls.
I'm seeing Ritter rolling a 6, but then rolling an 8.
Let me look at my health because I think I tried to heal myself. Yeah, I tried to heal myself, but my harm right now is at a 3, so I'm pretty sure that failure was on me.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. But you don't
I-
need
in
it
the
as much as the.
Right, and in the future, I will start typing names prefacing each healing roll so that we know who they went
I
to.
mean, I had already ticked off my 2 because I was like, hey, I'm not at a 4, but no, it makes sense now because I took mine off.
Yeah, I only got a regular healing, so I just ticked 1 off. So now I'm down to a 2 from a 3 after I obliterated my own feat.
Because you start from 6 once you get healed.
Right. Exactly. Once you've
So
been
Zygmunt's actually
resuscitated-
feeling pretty good.
Well, certainly better than you were yesterday.
Yeah. How
You
long
were
does my
running
concussion
around.
last?
It said, didn't it say 48 hours?
48 hours. Okay, so Zygmunt
was
still
it
thinks
that?
we're getting ready to go fight an adder.
Not humors.
I think you're right. I think I said 48 hours.
Yeah, it does say 48 hours. You have suffered a concussion and have a hard time remembering important info. So -1 sanguine for the next 48 hours.
That should just be me normally.
Well, I mean, if you'd like. No, honestly, something to let you all know. I'm already about halfway done with all the HTML on a new character sheet.
Nice.
So it'll be much easier to track injuries. We'll have built-in roles for that kind of stuff. All that fun HTML type stuff, which if you all are familiar with it, you know is the exact opposite of that.
So yeah, Zygmunt is he's probably realized that we already hunted the adder, but it's still hard for him to remember certain things.
Yes, that sounds about right. You know where you are. You haven't forgotten who you are. Any of that kind of stuff, but your short-term memory is not what it should be.
Yeah.
If you focus, you're able to think through it. A -1 to sanguine is not a crippling,
Right.
but it is definitely it's going to be an interference in your thought process. Okay. So I will let you all take it from there. Jurgen, you were talking about going into town?
Yeah, after people started feeling better, he would try to gather up a posse to go into town. Not everybody, but see who'd be willing to go and who'd be willing to stay.
I guess if nobody else will volunteer, Zygmunt will, just because I think that a ride in Adalbert will help clear my head.
Bert Holwood as well. I think it'd be the same thing after getting the addiction to the humor is going away. He would not to get content just to sit and loaf around and everything like that. He'd try to work it off.
Okay, so that's Berthold and Zygmunt. So Brita and Elena will stay behind and make sure that the camp doesn't catch fire anymore than it already
Sounds good.
Man party. Man party.
has. Stag do with the Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. All right, sure. Both parties, give me a circumstance roll each. So nominate somebody from each and roll.
I'll
Wait,
do
no, hold
it.
up first. Before we do
What's
that.
Yeah.
Alright, now we can go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Wait, what? Oh.
Yep. Good call. Yep.
See?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I'm really nervous about rolling a circumstance roll. So somebody else from the
Yeah.
man party do it.
Man party.
Come
We're
on,
gonna
Douglas,
create our own party with hookers and blackjack and lesbians.
All right.
Wait,
Well,
is
We
Elena
technically do.
was
Oh,
Elena
why-
with the men party or with the Brita
No,
party?
you're with the Burrito
No,
party. There was no reason.
You're.
well, okay. There's another 7.
Okay, well it's a 7 anyways. Jesus Christ.
It's what you deserve.
Putting out there, 7s could be failures in the next system.
I rolled a 1 and a 6.
That's
I'll be the hookers.
purposely. That's wonderful.
Elena can be the blow.
That is.
Because she
Uh,
blows.
All right then. Let's start off with the man party then.
The interesting party.
Wow! You guys aren't allowed back.
They close the door to the forest.
They hang up a sign with fucking gel pen and glitter text that
Oh,
just
Zygmunt's
says no
also going
boys
to bring
allowed.
along like that busted ass sword that he found to get it fixed.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Jay, I've been meaning to ask you because I took an IOU on the loot.
Right.
In Jurgen's current set of armor, because you said we can get a basic set of Kleiderpanzerung. It's not Aderwaffe. Would that have like spiked boots for better climbing? Like the
Yeah.
kind. Okay.
Yeah, those are pretty standard for any kind of climbing thing.
Well, shit. There goes my one idea. It's still an IOU then.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I told you all before stream, 3.0 is coming up, and there's going to be more equipment options in the future too. So, we'll see how that goes. Maybe hold on to that. Some of you already have things that you're holding on to or working towards, which will become more useful in 3.0.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we got a partial success there. Tell me how you want to do this trip.
And we've got a guy recovering from a concussion, a guy who's recovering from an addiction, and a Catholic priest. I think we're going to take it nice and slow.
Yeah, especially since the priest fucked both his feet up horribly.
And his last horse.
Yeah, that horse is dead as hell.
Yeah. Did we remove that horse from the accounting?
I think we did.
It's one less horse accounting.
But I don't.
No, we did not. You still have 11 horses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, down to 10.
It's a zombie horse, just like
I mean, I'm sure if we shoved enough adder offal into it, it'd become a zombie horse.
No.
But the problem is controlling it after that point.
I mean, it's certainly been
Don't-
an excellent experiment.
No.
Do not give Jay
Correct.
ideas on what to do with Adalbert.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
New 3.0 rules.
oh god.
I hadn't even thought of it from that angle. Yeah, let's not give him ideas of what to do to Adalbert.
Can
I
I,
mean-
add zombie horse god as a character move?
No.
No. I mean, it depends. Do you want to go down the walled trot path? That's really always the question. I've never
Cronenberg
removed
out.
it from the table. It just means that Jurgen's going to want to string you up constantly, and apparently Zygmunt's going to fly through the air and stab you through a house. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, things happen.
I still want an artistic depiction of that.
Don't look at me, man. I don't care about it that much.
Also, I believe, Darby, I believe Kayla is trying to ban you, so you know.
Oh. Oh, that's really fucking sweet of you. All right. Who wants her Christmas present?
Hey, I unbanned you. It's fine.
I'm not even in the Twitch chat. I don't know how you're doing that.
Oh my god.
Welcome to Everyone is Banned in the Wilderness.
Children behave.
All right. Let's get a perception check. Somebody.
Not it.
What's perception again? Like, what would that be?
Melancholic.
Melancholic.
Ah, shit. Mine's a 0. Who's got better than a 0 in the dude group?
I
I've
have
got
a
a
0.
1. Okay, I guess I'll roll. You see, this is your problem. You count on the concussed man to be point.
Wow. Well, we fucked that up. We fucked that up
That's
so
a
bad.
1+1+1.
Yep.
I
I didn't
hope
even choose this music.
Crisis.
Okay.
Huh.
So, as the... Okay, I have to turn this music off because this is way too intense for what I'm trying to describe. There we go.
I was a little bit concerned at first.
I didn't choose that. You just rolled basically a 1 and a 1 and it started that music just immediately started on. Didn't even have to cue it up or anything. Wow. That's okay though. It wasn't that crucial. As you leave in the morning, it's a very quiet trip. The path is set before you as it has been. It hasn't been washed out. The light sprinkling you had yesterday evening really hasn't seemed to affect it much. You are taking it slow. You're having a hard time focusing a bit, but it's not anything that would keep you from riding Adelbert. That's effectively second nature to you. Berthold, it is just one of those mornings. Just achy, crunky, not a fun day. Even the sunlight coming in is just a little too bright for comfort.
so. He's fairly much to grumpy pants right now.
Jurgen, your joints are sore and achy, and the bouncing on the horse is just not helping. Everyone's just kind of miserable. There's some attempt probably at small talk between the three of you, but most of the trip is probably done in silence, which is a boon in your favor, or it would be if you all had been paying all that much attention. But about 3 or 4 miles in, you start hearing the sounds of other horses. First, you think it's an echo. You know, you start looking around canyons or those kind of things, but eventually it becomes pretty much something you can't ignore. There's definitely at least 4 or 5 horses, either ahead or behind you. Not running. They seem to be going at about the same speed as you are. About 20 minutes later, you can hear the sounds of horses getting closer and closer, and it's now very obvious that you are approaching whatever group of horses it was that you heard.
And this road really only leads to the mine.
Well, this road leads to Stuttgart.
Right, but it leads from Stuttgart to the mine. It's basically all it's connected to.
It leads off to multiple mining camps, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not just that mine. There's way more ore than just one mine could potentially tap.
Okay, so it's good to just always be on guard, but not necessarily like it could be bad.
Right. It doesn't mean that there's Order of St. Michael assassins waiting for you around there or anything.
Well, Jurgen is going to perk up and start attempting to pay attention despite the throbbing in the back of his skull.
So Zygmunt will kind of sit up in his saddle, but obviously not reach for a weapon or anything like that to seem like he's some brigand.
Bertolt would kind of like roll his neck, like cracking it multiple times, and just watch.
As you're sort of passing down, the sound of the clopping horses or the slow path continues, and it gets closer and closer, and you can finally see a group of riders wearing like brown sackcloth. Very monk-like robes, but these are a very sort of fine weave, and there's sort of a glint of steel at the edge of the sleeves.
Would I recognize these robes?
Ah, that sounds like a roll.
Okay. Just
Please,
one moment.
please roll better than I've been rolling.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be melancholic, since that's sort of a memory intelligence style thing.
That would sound correct, yeah.
Yeah. I knew I should have gotten that move about the church stuff. Oh well. Wow.
We should have rolled out 104 ones.
Yeah, apparently.
I think that's
Jesus
the
Christ.
lowest roll I've seen in this entire game so far.
That, I believe, is almost the lowest potential. You can actually get...
A 0. It's
can
minus
get
1 is the
0.
lowest.
Yeah, -1 would be the lowest.
minus
That's.
one,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
So team guy is not off to a great start.
Well,
Team
it's
Guy's
not
off
like
to
you've
a
been attacked.
horrible start.
Right.
No, that'll be the next roll. That's a 1.
The woman's cursed us.
Those damn
Excuse
vaginas
me, you
cursing
just
us.
don't have... No, you don't have the talisman of good luck boobs with you.
That's a talisman?
Oh, we'll have
They're
to-
attached to her chest. That's what the
Oh.
talisman is.
Okay.
I mean, what are the odds that we just all of us guys roll ones on all of our rolls? Like Birdhole has to go next, right?
I assume so. It's only to be fair, right?
All right, Berthold, you're up. Melancholic roll.
Do you
Okay.
recognize these monks? Because Birdholt.
I'm looking forward
I
to the
mean,
double one on
honestly,
this one.
he does have background in church organization because he's a Templar. So
Yeah.
Huh?
Let's see this double one. Well, it's
Oh,
not
there's
double
one.
ones, but there we go.
So you're all dead
There
now,
it is. There it is.
Ooh, there it is.
And then Zygmunt wonders if they're an Aderjaeger company.
He successfully wonders. As you sort of are passing down the road, they don't seem to speed up or turn to you. There's sort of a slight nod by one of the people in the front. You notice these are sort of less robes and more of a cloak of some sort, a very heavy, like almost oilcloth style cloak. Looks very uncomfortable, but seems to be more of protection from traveling than any kind of comforting clothing.
so kind of like dusters or something.
Kind of. Yeah, it's really just sort of a long hooded cloak. It doesn't seem to have sleeves. So kind of it goes over the head and it kind of ties at the neck. So it's more like a really fancy cape, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But it's long and cut so that it covers the arms when riding a horse. There's definitely metal on these cloaks. It almost seems like they're sort of pins or something that would attach to something underneath to keep them from sliding off. And they kind of nod to you. They continue on their way. They don't seem to be talking to each other. They just sort of seem to have slowed down hearing you approach and past you. And then after a while, you can kind of hear a little bit of a pickup in pace. Not a chasing pace, but definitely as if they're not going to run into you face first now, so they're just going to continue on their normal travel.
It's there were just 4 or 5 guys on horses. They weren't carrying anything with them or carts or anything like that.
They were armed, but that's not atypical.
Right.
They weren't excessively armed.
Yeah.
Example. They weren't carrying what you would consider, they weren't carrying lances or anything that you would consider heavy weaponry or anti-adder weapons. They looked more of the scholarly sort. None of them were big, bulky men. There
Okay.
was evidence of some armor or light armor or something like that. but none of them seemed, at least what you would consider Aderjaeger, at least
Yeah.
from what you know of your experience.
Right.
And there's doesn't seem to be much else for you on the road. You reach Stuttgart about 6 hours later. Anyone want to do a perception check?
No. No, I
I
don't.
don't want to, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Apparently, to butt fuck it was the correct answer.
Yeah.
No, there's no one following. As you get to the town, you notice there's several more people starting to go back down that way. Whereas you had the benefit of whatever miners had been down there had stayed away because of course there's an adder. Most of them seem to be heading back down that way. So you see company carts loaded up and starting to head down the path.
So the Order of St. Michael's assassins are clearly going up for Team Women's. Got it.
Apparently. Anyway, what's your first trip in Stuttgart? Where are you heading to first?
Well, if we drop that sword off, it'll have more time to get done. Although we
Yeah.
do need to see. I mean, it's not going to be done today.
I mean, it's not like we can't, split up. We're in town. It's relatively. Well, I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, but somebody
I mean,
should probably accompany Jurgen to the mining office because
Yeah.
he's about as charismatic as a break through your window.
like, I mean, Zygmunt's gonna bring a piece of that flesh that he took off as a sample.
Oh, that's really going to
Um,
be charming.
Well, just so we can have proof that we killed an adder.
Right. Except that no one has seen this skin on an adder before.
Right. Well, they called it the Great White Adder.
True.
So I guess there's no reason that it would take that long to stop by the mining company. Let's stop there first. And
Okay. So who's leading this group in there?
well, Jurgen. Well, I guess we both helped with the contract. So
Yeah.
I think actually Burt might excuse himself and actually take his broken weapon to the shop that they originally visited before, because they probably don't need him for this task. So you can at least get a start on looking at what needs to be done to repair it.
I guess if Bertholdt's going to a weapon repair shop, I think we'll hand him off the sword.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get to that in just a minute.
That's fine.
Jurgen and Zygmunt. Now that we've split the party 3 ways.
Just exactly what you need to do.
Yep. Always a great idea.
You guys are wonderful.
As you sort of walk in, you notice that there is sort of a commotion going on. It seems people are kind of, running about it. Somebody's, talking about, oh, the adder, they killed the adder. And as you kind of walk in, someone says, did you hear someone killed the adder?
Yes, we're the ones who did it.
The guy kind of side-eyes you. You did? What company are you with?
With the Götterdämmerung. We just signed this contract not 2 days ago? 2 or 3.
This isn't the person you talked to. Just
Oh.
clarify. This is just someone in the office.
Oh. Well, that's true. We have the wounds to prove it.
What? But you could have gotten that anywhere. Hold on. And he kind of goes behind and drags an older man out of the storerooms. Are they the ones that set up the contract? The man kind of adjusts and looks at you and goes, Yeah, about 2 days ago. Did you all get that done already?
Yes, the creature's dead, but we're still working on removing the body.
But at least
Shouldn't be more than a day or two.
Oh, let's see here. He kind of goes into his desk and pulls the contract paperwork. It says here you have 10 days, so I guess you're well within contract. As soon as one of our officials can verify that the mine is clear, I don't see any reason not to authorize payment then.
Excellent. Well, mostly we just wanted to make sure that somebody wasn't going to come in and try to claim credit for our contract.
Well, of course, we'll need to see you at the site to verify.
Of course. I think we have a little bit of business in town to accompany to, but then our party's already on site. We have everything secure. I don't see any reason that should be any trouble. And Jurgen would just kind of look to Zygmunt with a small shrug.
No trouble if your man wants to ride with us back to the site. Shouldn't be an issue.
Oh, no. If we're going to return to the site, we'll be bringing the foreman with us. I don't know the mine well enough to do that sort of verification.
Well, that's fine then. We have representatives waiting.
It's one of the guy who would kind of pull him in the back, just kind of snickers to himself. Yeah, I don't see him going into a mine. And the other one shoots him a dirty look, and they both kind of stand off for a sec and then turn back. All right, we'll see you there tomorrow, first light. Foreman will be there. We'll get this squared away. I'm expecting Reichsgulden is an acceptable payment method.
More than acceptable.
Absolutely.
Fine. Once it's verified, we'll get you squared away. We're very glad that it's might finally be out of there. The ore in that mine is worth quite a great fortune. So for 10,000, that's a steal. All right then, away with you. We'll see you in the morning. He kind of dismisses you with a wave of his hand and kind of slouches back into the storeroom.
As he starts to slouch away, Jurgen's just going to kind of shoot daggers in his back with his eyes, but otherwise just turn to leave.
So as they leave, Zygmunt will be like, well, that went well.
Couldn't be easier. Still wonder what those men with the sackcloths were doing on the road, though. Makes me nervous.
Meanwhile,
Well,
back at camp.
Back at Camp Vaginas.
No.
Oh,
Because there's also a bunch of collection guild members in your camp too, and all of your guards stored.
back at Guild, the Vaginas are superior.
Elise is missing again.
God
This
damn
is
it, woman.
Not surprising, because this is not the first or third time that she's done this. But
Can
by the
I
time
try to
morning
track her down?
breakfast- You certainly can. By the time breakfast is finally starting to be served, she had apparently been gone for several hours, at least according to Storch.
Is that standard for how long she's away hunting?
Typically.
Okay.
She doesn't always come back with food.
Not every hunt is successful.
So since Brita, you have invested the most time in helping Elise, why don't you give me 1d3?
1d3, you said?
Okay. Thank you. I will use
You're welcome.
that later. Anyway, as you all are kind of finishing eating breakfast, you have the choice. You could try to hunt her down, Elena, but it's pretty clear she's probably gone hunting. Do you still want to hunt her down? Or?
Do it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll track her.
Okay. Give me a roll relating to tracking.
Move bonus is 1. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, you're able to track her pretty deeply into the woods. It's going to take you about the same amount of time it took her, though. So it's going to take you 2 or 3 hours to kind of catch up with her. Is that something you still want to do?
Is this leaving Brita all by herself?
Yes. Well, it's leaving Brita as the only PC by herself.
But there's other people there with her, correct?
There are other, of course.
I mean, you could tell me where you're going and I could come with you.
This is true, but we want probably a PC to stay with the stuff, so it doesn't. Thieves.
Okay, bye.
So Elena just off into the wilderness is what you're telling me.
And
Yeah.
tells Brita nothing.
She's
She's
just
starting to get used to it. She's not happy with it, but she's getting used to it.
Yeah, so Elena goes and bumbles out into the woods, starts tracking Elise, and stumbles across her after a couple hours.
After a couple hours, you are now a couple hours away from Brita. Uh, right after breakfast, not long after Elena has disappeared into the woods, a group of men show up at camp.
Well, thanks, Elena.
Wearing brown capes and just sort of light armor, some sort of scale underneath their these long cloaks, and they hop off. And two of them have very large leather-bound books with metal locks on them, and they kind of approach and they say, "Hello."
You're welcome, Brita.
Brita comes over and just looks at them kind of expectantly. Hi, can I help you?
Yes, we heard there was an unusual adder slain here.
Your mic's a little quiet, bud.
Okay, hello, how's that?
Welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you.
So pretty.
Anyway, he kind of motions towards you and says, yes, I heard there was an unusual adder slain here.
There was.
Could you
Can I
point
ask who
towards
you
it?
are?
Oh, I'm Brother Michael. This is Brother Joseph. This is... Well, he doesn't like to be called by this, but this is Brother Hubert.
Well, welcome to the mine, but our band of Aderjaegers was the one who downed it, and we're waiting to hear back from the guilds to come collect them.
Oh, I don't... We don't mean to take anything from it. We're here to study.
Why do you gotta put this kind of responsibility on me when I'm all alone? I'm not the decision maker.
I'm not the one who left you by yourself.
I know. I'm not saying you, like you, the GM. I'm saying you, like literally every other motherfucking player in this game.
One of the Brother Hubert's, or at least what he's been introduced, comes forward and he shows it's sort of his large, heavy book is really quite ancient, several hundred pages, but it doesn't look like it's bound in the traditional sense. It's got a solid backing, and then it seems almost like there's loose leaf paper that's sort of compressed and locked into it. And on the front of it, there is the symbol of a stag with the cross between the two antlers.
Do I recognize this thing?
That's a good question. Roll me something related to what you would know.
Melancholic?
That would work. Watch you remember it better than anybody else.
I don't know if I clicked it and it's delayed or if I missed it.
I don't know. I'm not seeing anything.
If it's not showing up on yours,
Okay.
it's
There
probably-
it is.
oh.
It's
There we go.
13.
Oh god!
Into 10.
It was delayed.
Double
I-
succeed. Yes, this is the symbol of the Order of St. Hubert. Which is probably why Brother Hubert doesn't like being called that. Causes confusion among those who don't recognize it.
So, what would I know about the Order of Brother Hubert?
The Order of St. Hubert.
The order.
I
of
know what
Hubert.
I said.
The Order of Huberts.
St. Hubert is the patron saint of hunters. Specifically, Jaegers. Specifically,
Jaeger
studying
hunters
adders.
or hunters that are Jaegers?
Well, both now.
Oh, motherfucker. Alright. And you said he was showing her this book?
Yes, it was effectively his the only real form of identification he have is this book.
Meaning the mark on in the front of it, not the contents
Right.
of the book.
Right.
Okay.
No, he hasn't opened the book for you.
Well, yeah, I was just checking. All right, then she just kind of give him a long look and be like, "I'll escort you down, but can I ask you not to touch anything?"
Well, I mean, we will try to keep our hands pure, of course, but we were told this one was dangerous.
I believe that's accurate, yes.
What sort?
Well, it seemed to breathe fire, and it scalded several of our party members.
And Brother Hubert looks over at Brother Joseph, and they just kind of look at you, and Brother Hubert starts laughing, and he says, "Are breathe fire?"
And she just kind of gives him this tired look, like, I don't really feel like playing this kind of game. And she's like, look, I was there. I was one of the ones burnt. I can give you my word that there was something flammable coming out of its mouth in a projectile fashion. You can call it breathing fire if you want. You can call it something else, but it burned us via a projectile from its perceived mouth.
It has a mouth? Well, that makes it rare already. What about its plate?
It had none.
And again, you get this sort of blank stare from Brother Hubert.
She just nods inside. Yes, it had none. I understand the rarity of that statement.
And Brother Joseph has already opened his book and is just fast scribbling down notes. And Brother Michael sort of steps forward and tries to be a little more social. You'll have to excuse us. What you're saying is extremely unusual.
I understand
In the
that.
archives, there's only been 5 or 6 such adders with no plates.
So you have seen them before?
Me? Oh, no. I haven't lived long enough.
But your order has. There's evidence of them.
Yes, many were... And he seems like he's struggling with the word. Rather gooey.
I believe that's a fairly accurate assessment of this creature.
We assume they were just irregularities, mutations, failed designs, perhaps? Things that didn't quite go the way they wanted to. Most of them collapsed into living piles of worms, effectively.
Living piles of worms? I don't think that applies to this one.
Are you saying it had form? What form of
yes.
locomotion did it take?
Resembling several legs.
Legs?
Walked much like a normal creature.
Did it have bones?
I don't believe so.
Like, you have their rapt attention at this point as Brother Joseph is just rapidly writing things down and is just kind of dumbfounded in the background. Brother Michael again sort of snaps back to the realization that he's supposed to be having a conversation and just stand there with his eyes and falling out of his head. And he goes, well, please, lead us down. We will follow your rules. We must record this.
Alright, if you insist. And she goes, and do they still need the fucking breathing mask stuff at this point?
No. The Collectors Guild has already pumped air down.
Gotcha. Alright, then yeah, she would just lead him down to the cave then, and take him to where it is.
And the brothers sort of collect, and they kind of pull their cloaks up around them, which you can tell looks a lot like leather. It's kind of shiny like leather, but it's definitely a woven cloth. And they sort of get close, and wrapping their hands in the cloth, they just kind of poke at what remains of the sort of squishy skin over the legs. Astounding. What were you planning on doing with them?
Well, we're not entirely sure right now. We're still trying to figure that out, I believe.
Well, I mean, I see he's kind of motioning to Lectors Guild, and they're, obviously carving large portions out of the carcass, but the majority of an adder's body, awful, not in horrible, as in just literal, useless flesh. And with no plate, there's really not much there. Could once you've removed the valuable parts, of course, would you mind if we have the rest?
Well, I can talk with the rest of my party and see what they think on the matter. I'm not really the one in charge of this operation, but I can promise you that I will have that discussion with them.
as you're kind of talking to Brother Michael, Brother Joseph looks around. He says, how many of your company died in this fight? And he's looking at the scorch marks all over the ground.
And she kind of follows his gaze and she goes, none. Those were the companies that tried before us.
Survived multiple? And it's only any, there's sort of this, you can kind of see him like using his hand to kind of.
You're cutting out, bud.
Oh, I shouldn't be cutting out. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear
Okay.
you. It's just like you're fading out, I should say. The mic sensitivity isn't picking up the ends of your sentences. All good.
That's weird. Discord, why are you doing this to me? Because it's on auto.
Yeah.
Shouldn't cut out at all. Anyway, he kind of roughly measures out with his hand, his thumb and forefinger, and kind of tries to get a guesstimation on the length of it. It breathed fire.
Do we still have like any evidence laying around of that like fluid stuff that was in it?
Yeah, you could. They're all crated up right now.
Is it possible to open those and show them
Yeah.
without ruining? Okay. Then yeah, she would. What's up?
Yeah, you could. They're not going to ruin, but you run the risk of course, hurting yourself or them, especially if they touch it.
Well, yeah. Then she would gesture for them to come over to wherever that stuff is being stored, and she'd open up one of the crates and just like very carefully, probably using the end of a stick or something, and she'd just be like, "Don't touch it. It's incredibly caustic. But this is what was flowing all through its interior and what it seemed to be able to shoot at us."
Yeah, all of the blood is stored in these fairly large, like 5-gallon clay and glass jars, sort of almost like jugs. And as you kind of put a stick into it and pull it out, it's you can hear the sound of that acid sort of reacting to the wood, and then as it sort of pops and fizzles and air sort of mixes, it just ignites, and a fire sort of raises off that like a almost like a torch, and several of the Collectors Guild kind of freak out and come over to you and rip the stick out of your hand and stop it and extinguish the flame, because if any of this were to break like that, the same thing could happen to all of you down there. And the foreman kind of walks over to you after this and says, what are you doing?
They wanted to see what kind of fluid was in it.
Well, yes, I guess I can understand that. That's kind of their job, isn't it? You're here to poke more holes in the pie, then? And one of the brothers kind of looks at him, and there's definitely there is not a happy look. I wouldn't say so much a death stare, but there is a displeased look on all the brothers' faces as they look over this form of the Collectors Guild. Well, once the vultures are done, I suppose we can take a look at the body. And the foreman just kind of laughs haughtily and walks back over and directs men to finish up their work. Yes, well, that's very interesting. Where were you thinking of selling these parts? Yes.
Fuck, where were we thinking of selling these parts?
I don't think you all have decided.
We haven't.
I didn't think so either. Okay. And she'd just kind of shrug and be like, "We're still trying to smooth out the details ourselves. This has only been dead for a couple of days."
Well then, do you think you'll decide soon?
I believe so, yes. When everyone else gets back from town, then we'll probably be having that discussion.
God, why would you say that?
What? Fuck you.
You
So
just
just-
invited a bandit attack. We're so fucked.
I'm just a poor defenseless woman who doesn't know what she's doing. Leave me alone.
Oh, is that in character?
No. No, Brita's a bit more sure of herself than I am of her.
So your company has left already?
Most of them. We still have our, what do you call them? Caravan people.
Really, only 3 people left.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a good point. Some of them. Some of them is what she says.
Oh, well, you must understand. For research purposes, we would like to have access to the body as quickly as possible. If you
Well, they
could
should be
name a
back
price when
soon.
you have time. Do you mind if we
I'm.
wait here with you?
You can wait at the camp, sure, but I'm gonna have to ask that you not come down here without an escort by myself or one of the other actual Aderjaegers.
Don't worry about that, miss, the foreman from the Collectors Guild sort of yells back. We won't let him down here. Not at least
She
till we're
just
done playing with it.
she just kind of raises a hand like, "Yep, thank you, sit back down."
The guy just sort of laughs and goes back to work. Well, I can't say that we approve of the Collectors Guild's methods, but we understand you have to make a living after all.
Well,
All right, we will shall wait in the camp till the rest of your party returns, and then we can perhaps make a deal of some sort.
sounds perfectly fine to me.
Okay.
She just starts to gesture to start walking out of the cave now.
The brothers do so quite easily. Berthold.
Yes.
So explain what you are doing specifically, so I can help you here.
Well, he was given the. It was just the sword from Zygmunt and Jurgen. Or is there any other weapons that he wanted them to repaired?
I'm waiting for them to respond.
Oh no, I think it was just the sword because like all of Zygmunt's weapons were eaten pretty much.
Okay, yeah. He had returned to the shop that he found the original Aderwaffe and Panzerung, the powered one, because he that's when he knows that I felt like good feel for it. And basically, he would approach the if they're not the same person, he'd approach one of the proprietors and look into getting the weapon repair, and also show them the remains of the Aderwaffe that he found and asked what could be done with it.
Okay. As you sort of show them the first sword, he says, "Yes, I suppose we can get this repaired. It'll cost 500.
So that would be fine.
Okay. It'll take 2 or 3 days. Unfortunately, that's the soonest we can get our smith to work on it."
I believe Zygmunt and Jurgen mentioned about that long, so it should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. As for this, and he kind of, as you bring the pieces over, he kind of unwraps them from the whatever method you'd been carrying them together with.
Yeah, it's like a bundled up tie. Like
Yeah.
make sure it's nice and secure.
You kind of see he looks at it and he looks intrigued, but he doesn't. It doesn't have that immediate look on his face like, "Oh yes, I know exactly what this is." And so he's kind of spreading the pieces out and he's looking at parts and picking up this and that, and he eventually pulls over a magnifying glass and is kind of looking, and it almost seems like he's looking for like a maker's mark of some sort. And eventually he says, "This is decent work. Must have been expensive. Where did you get it?"
Well, we just recently took the contract in the mine for the adder there, and it apparently had a number of prior Aderjaegers there, and well, there weren't much left of them, but I did recover this.
Yes, well, that would explain the damage. It seems you're missing several parts, or perhaps they were destroyed.
I was pretty sure to gather what was there, so I'm surprised they were destroyed. But do you happen to know what I might need to? What parts would be needed to get this repaired?
And he kind of frowns as he looks over it. This would not be an easy repair. You're essentially missing all of the main drive unit. Let's see, the pressurized chamber. Yes, that's gone. The high pressure injector. Yes, that's moved. Gearing. Looks like you're missing at least 14 inches of worm gearing here. Oh. Very, very complicated machining. I suppose it could be done, but it wouldn't be quick or cheap.
I imagine so. Any thoughts on that though?
Well, it looks like this weapon came from Adershield. There's several shops
Really?
down there that specialize in this sort of thing. This one particularly seems to be rather ornate. Must have belonged to quite the hunter of authority. Well, I suppose you could take it back there and ask, but I unfortunately don't even have this kind of inverse pressure chamber here. It seems to pull some sort of a vacuum, which drive this pneumatic, which affects the worm gear. Probably 8-9 months before I'd be able to get the parts for something like this.
Oh, yeah, I think we're heading down there though soon, so I think it might behoove us to. Yeah, because we don't plan on staying in Stuttgart for that long. You know, being an Aderjaeger to a troop, we kind of on the move a lot. But
Well, I can't tell you how expensive it would be. If it was me, custom work like this typically not cheap. But since you do have the main blade and the secondary blade, yes, he kind of like interlocks it and sort of shows you how the secondary blade is supposed to, sort of slide down and wrap around the end.
he kind of
An axe versus just a sword.
Berhalt's eyes would widen. Then he'd almost get like a little, almost a giddy expression, seeing, like, thinking of how that would actually work.
Yeah, see, there would have also been a handle guard here with the pressure chamber attached. Would have been very heavy. It looks like most of the main shaft has been destroyed. Well, that's quite clever. They had a secondary pressure system. Yes, this would have been a very fine work.
That's the reason I when I saw it, I just felt the potential and I wanted to see what could be done with it. And I think you've given me a good lead on it.
I would be careful with that. A weapon like that has a heritage. Some might be upset that you found it.
He kind of purses his lips and nods. The heirloom, he doesn't necessarily have an heirloom equipment of himself, but he knows of it and how they can be attached not just individuals but families and everything. And so it doesn't deter him though and everything. I mean, it's not like he knows who it belonged to begin with, so it's not like he can return it. So.
And it would be about this time that if Jurgen and Zygmunt would like, you could actually arrive at the store as well. Or you can wait
sure.
for him on the street.
Yeah.
Might as well pop in and see what's taking him so long.
And as you sort of walk in, you see this complicated machinery laid out on the cloth that he had it all bundled up with. The sword has already been tagged and taken to the bathroom. The bell rings and the shopkeep kind of looks over these sort of magnified lenses and says, "Hello."
Ah, Jurgen, Zygmunt, come here. Look at this.
Is that what you found in the mine?
That is what I found in the mine. It's a figment of what it could be, though. It's a mere shadow, a potential.
Well, perhaps a skeleton is a better description. The storekeep says.
Yeah, that's good. And Bertolt would take the parts and basically reverse the effective functionality of how the shopkeeper had shown him to show Jurgen and Zygmunt the opposite form of the weapon. As you can see here, it's this Adderwaffle had the ability to shift between two different weapons, a large axe and a large sword. Given the size of this thing, I imagine that perhaps that automatic Kleinopanzerung was employed, but I'm not too sure.
Yes, it was kind of hard to tell with everything in the state that it was in. Are you going to get this restored?
Unfortunately, not here. This gentleman said that it's not would not to work out to take at least 9 months for him to get the parts. So, but he did mention that it likely got constructed down in what was it? Sorry, Ada what?
Aderjaeger.
Yeah, sorry, Ada ship.
It's a bit of a ways away, but it'd be good for us to get down that way anyhow.
Do have a savings account that's down there.
Not to mention plentiful work for Aderjaeger.
Sure, plenty of work between here and there as well.
It's quite the dangerous route these days, I've heard, though. Apparently, adder sightings are up twice what they were last year.
Very good to know. More work for us then.
And of course, you've heard what happened at Waldstadt.
No.
No, what
Waldstadt?
happened?
Oh, the news came here through the other day. Did you not hear?
We were out of town. What happened?
Oh, the whole town was razed. Burnt to the ground.
By Adder?
We don't know yet. It seems strange. We've heard it happen to, smaller towns, but there are perhaps 10, 15,000 souls in Waldstadt. Probably the largest mining town this side of the mountains.
Just out of character, I'm pinging it on the map so
Yeah.
that y'all can see exactly where he's talking about.
Were there survivors?
Not that we know of.
What?
Apparently, a supply shipment from Call was headed over to deliver, monthly groceries, new pickaxes, the standard fare.
But
and they just walked in to find the whole place razed to ash.
that makes no sense. I mean, adders they're mindless beasts. I mean, they cause chaos and destruction and death everywhere they go. But I've never heard of them actually actively wiping a settlement off of existence to the point where not even a single survivor
Never mind
remained.
that, even if it was bandits or brigands or an invasion of some sort, there'd be survivors, somebody who must have escaped the carnage. No refugees have come forth, no witnesses, nobody's seen anything.
Apparently, the Order of St. Michael had taken in several, but it's very hard to get, rumors out of the Order of St. Michael, as you know.
Oh God.
Sigma's just
That
thinking
does-
back to that clearing that he saw on their trip from Forsheim to Stuttgart. Wasn't
Apparently,
there
were
rumors of like there was a
survivors.
town there?
I guess that's what matters. Oh,
But-
there's two abbeys. There's one between Call and Wadstadt, and one on the other side of the river of Wadstadt.
And the
Smaller
a-
buildings, old fortresses, apparently.
And the abbeys weren't affected at all by this attack?
We don't know. The Order refused to comment. Which, consider most of them have no tongues, is, I guess, par for the course.
But
Oh, well,
I don't like this.
It is troubling news indeed.
Well, so thank you for your time. I think I will take this, but thank you for your assistance in here and helping me set me on the path I need to go for this. And I will heed your advice about others. I'll make sure I tread lightly with this weapon, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Well, certainly. Good luck on getting this fixed. It is a beautiful piece, but I don't suppose it will be a quick or cheap fix, unfortunately.
I understand. As for the other sword, do you want half up front or?
No, it'll just be about 2-3 days. Just bring payment when you pick it up. Obviously, if you don't pay, we simply won't give it to you.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you. Let's get back to camp, gentlemen.
oh yeah. Before we leave, Zygmunt will ask. Do you have any non-powered lances for hunting adder?
Well, I mean, suppose if you want to go with something toned down, What size?
Well, I guess Zygmunt rode in on Adalbert. He'll kind of hoist up his one remaining anti-adder lance. Something similar to this. Then he'll kind of hand it over.
It's a bit small. Huh, I suppose you could, let me see what we have in the back, he says, and he sort of grumbles and walks towards the back of the store. And he sort of comes out with a big, long tube and puts it on the counter and uncorks one side and starts pulling out spears and lances. Well, I mean, this is about the smallest we have. It's just your standard wooden lance with a metal tip.
What do you have that is larger?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're serious Aderjaeger,
God damn it.
we do have some finer pieces available. But obviously the cost is increased as well.
Well, I'm aware of your, I guess, your centerpiece there, and he kind of gestures to the I guess rocket lance. I don't know what you even call it. Gun lance that
Gun
had
lance,
been
that works.
that had been shown earlier. But what else?
Well, there's really not much between it. I mean, you really have the best, or, well, you see what you see.
Damn it. How much was that again?
That was 120,000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We perhaps you have something that we could trade. Do you have anything, I don't know, exceptionally rare or valuable?
Trade Brita.
Bitch, maybe you can come back to camp and actually help me out with these strangers who are staying for tea, and then you can talk about selling me.
Shove her in a bag and just hand her over.
No! These tits have a gun.
Zygmunt will kind of
Gun tits?
reach into his pack and kind of produce a sample of the adder skin that he had carved out for himself.
The shopkeep just kind of looks at it. Jellied eel?
Well, adder's skin, if you could call it that.
He kind of looks at you and he looks at the skin. Yes, I'm sorry. You're going to have to excuse my suspicions, but do you have anything more impressive than that?
Well, let me show you. And he'll kind of take out his hunting knife and stab a hole in it, and then find an open flame and kind of hold the skin over the flame and show how it like manages to heal itself.
Well, that's very, he kind of nods. Well, I suppose if you had a sufficient quantity of this material,
Well,
how
we
much
have,
do you have?
roughly an entire adder's worth.
20 so feet of it.
20 feet of it.
Well, we have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I get?
a 20.
It was
take a
20-foot adder. Wasn't it
measurement
like
of it.
60 feet or something?
Oh.
Wouldn't it be like 100 and something square feet?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was actually more. Sorry, my bad. It's I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not feeling that well.
The maths.
So, over 100 square feet, or whatever measurement unit of measurement we are using in this timeline.
It's a lot, guys.
I believe you're using yards, but I could be wrong.
Right.
It's 10, 20. Shouldn't there be about 502 square feet, roughly? Assuming it's a tube.
I mean, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That's my math as well.
I don't
Close
know.
enough.
We have a
But-
lot.
It's diameter times pi times length, right?
I
Why'd
don't
you do this to
friggin'
me?
know, man.
Jay, we're gonna have a talk later.
Apparently my math is bad and I should feel bad.
The external surface area is 2 pi radius times the height.
We all graduated high school.
Yeah, that's 2 pi radius is diameter,
Yeah.
right? Times
Wait,
pi.
Wait,
times
Tyler, you're a doctor. You should be able to.
I know optics and eyeballs. I do
He's
not
that
know
kind of
physics.
doctor.
You're a doctor. You know algebra, right?
What's the volume of my skin?
No, we're
Full
looking
of
for
shit.
surface area, not volume. And that's probably why I'm doing this wrong.
I'm sorry.
Look, whatever, you're the GM. Whatever you say goes.
Yeah, you're
I'm
the
gonna say you have
GM. Make your own
160
math.
I'm gonna say you have 160 square feet. That sounds about right.
Okay. We have that many. We have that many skin.
And you would sell
That
that to
many
us.
skin.
You would sell that to us exclusively?
We
That's not
might-
exclusive.
Well, we might require some you to refine some of it into the form of armor for us, but whatever we do not use.
I don't know how much we can use that for armor. It's kind of squishy, but
I think that wasn't that what Victor had recommended? Like self-repairing.
Yeah,
oh, I missed that. I missed that actually. Sorry.
yeah, layered up enough. Like, think like a gambeson where it's multiple layers of fabric. Instead, it'd be multiple layers of this, and it'd be self-repairing.
Oh,
Yeah, its sort of protection is like thick leather, but it feels sort of soft, and I wouldn't say slimy, but slick like a lambskin.
Can we use it to make sewing mats?
No.
What?
I don't know, I'm thinking we're kind of hurting for money right now, and I mean, whatever we can outfit our people with, we'll use, and whatever we don't, we will sell to this
Yeah.
man.
If we sell to you exclusively, that would give you an edge on the market, but at the same time, we would want to be compensated appropriately.
because this is more than just self-repairing skin. We can show you some things you've never seen before. I guarantee it.
Like what?
Have you heard of an adder that breathes fire?
You have one alive?
Well,
Gods no.
we have his blood.
And as if we have the mechanism that causes it.
The organ.
Yes.
I have to excuse me, that seems a bit of a stretch. You're saying that there was a fire-breathing adder, and you happen to have the specific part.
It's what do you remember what kind of crystal that they consumed? What was it called?
Something to do with copper up in one of those mines.
It effectively consumed them, from what I have ascertained, and it processed it in this gizzard-like organ and regurgitated it out, according to one of the analyses by who was it? Was it the engineering fellow, or was it one of the
What was that? What was that mineral? It was like I keep want to say calcite.
It's gosh, it's hard to pronounce, but it's
You're right.
Calcinite. It's not
Calcinite.
It's not calcite. It is a copper sulfate crystal, is what it is.
Right.
I think that made this be easier to show you. Perhaps a representative from your organization would like to meet us at the site.
I suppose I could send one of our apprentices.
I assure you it will not be a waste of his or your time.
Well, I suppose. What time?
We are heading back now, if you have somebody available, he can come back with us.
I suppose that would work, but I would much rather arrive on our own. No
Ah.
offense, but I don't feel like following you all into the woods with a load of gold.
I wouldn't ask you to bring your gold right there. I mean, we still have to negotiate, but yeah, you can come another time. We still have processing to do.
He kind of nods. All right, tomorrow morning it is then.
Very good. And I imagine they probably turn to leave and Bertold pat Zygmunt on the back. See, my friend, you'll get your special lance.
Sigmund just has a passing look at the lance. One, knowing full well that even though he can kind of heft it up, he still needs something to help mount it.
That's what I was saying when Bertold was trying to sell it up. Not necessarily sell it, but actually remind them that they have enough parts to probably get more than just that lance.
Right.
All right. Elena, you
Yes.
have been tracking Elise for probably 3 or 4 hours by the
Have I
and
found
eventually you find her
Sweet.
standing in a small clearing, probably talking to 5 or 6 other people. Her bow slung over her shoulder.
Can I hear
Dun,
anything you're
dun,
saying?
dun.
Well, if you want to roll a stealth to get close without Elise seeing you.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just check something really quick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that would definitely work. Okay, yeah, you're able to sneak probably with about 10 or 15 feet, and you kind of hear her pushing one of the. They all seem to be wearing cloaks or hoods of some sort. You can't really see their faces very well. But their clothes look remarkably similar to the clothing that was worn by the assassins you met in that one town.
You mean the assassins that she was a part of?
Motherfucker, why can't I have nice things?
And you can, as you get close, you kind of hear, no, I can't do that. Here, listen, take this and go. This is all I'm giving you.
Can I see what it is?
She just hands him a small bag. It's kind of hard to see whether it's gold or food or money or anything like that.
Do I hear any like clinking of coins?
No.
Does it just sound like a wet
No.
thud?
She
They're
doesn't throw it
screeching.
at him, she hands it to him.
All right.
And there's kind of some muffled phrase. You can't hear it quite as well because you're actually behind them, more accurately. And they sort of turn and walk away, and after a while you just see Elise just sort of collapse in the field and just sigh for a second before she kind of perks up and starts looking around as if she's looking for someone.
And then Brita comes out of the woods.
We're safe here, my love.
Elena is gonna back off a little bit from what she's seen, kind of ticking her jaw just a little bit, like, fuck, I didn't want to find this. But she's not gonna head right back. Instead, she's gonna actually go around the clearing, kind of like she got lost or something, and then loudly start walking towards the clearing in such a way that like Elise would hear her and just start like yelling her name, like, "Hey, Elise, are you out here?"
And Elise kind of perks up and stands up, and you hear this like loud shh noise towards you as you kind of from the direction that she had been sitting before.
Elena would just kind of stop at like a fair distance away, but just within like faint earshot, and just kind of be like, "Why shh?"
Because I'm hunting. You're gonna scare all the game away.
But I haven't seen a deer in a long time.
Well, if you've been shouting my name, that's why.
Got you there. Pack up and go home.
Elena just kind of pauses and is like, "Oh,
What are you doing out here? We're at least..." And she kind of stops and thinks, 5 or 6 miles from camp.
I was looking for you. I didn't know where you went, and you didn't say anything to anybody. And
I
then,
was hunting. It's my job.
but normally you say things to people that care about you before you go." And she kind of just
Actually, I don't
flails
think
her
she
arms a little
does.
bit.
Who cares about me? I thought I worked for you.
Just
Now
'cause
listen here, you little shit. Rita pops down out of the heavens.
Listen, I'm just trying to earn my pay. What do you want?
I just wanted to see what you were doing, how your hunting was going. Like, sometimes it seems like you come back with not a lot of food, so I thought I might see what you were doing and try to offer help.
She just
Elena's
kind of
gonna-
sighs. Well, now that you've scared all the game away, well, I guess you can take this robot back, and this rabbit.
Whoa.
Hey now.
Whoa, wait a
Jay,
minute.
I know what you're watching. You need to be paying attention. You're the GM.
Listen, it's got a fucking chainsaw now.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty fucking dope. Like, it just fucking chainsawed the
Lucas.
Japanese robot's arm off. It's fucking sick.
Oh wait, is that the
Focus.
robot fighting thing?
Yeah, it's on right now.
Kayla!
I
Oh,
work
God.
for the company
Okay.
that's streaming
Oh.
it. Shut up.
Yo,
It
dude,
streams everything! That doesn't give you an excuse!
the fucking
This is so
announcers had to
scripted as fuck.
evacuate.
No, this is so scripted as fuck, man. I'm sorry.
it is.
This not related at all to what we're playing. It's brought to you by Robot Duel. In which case, how long did they take to set up all the pyrotechnics for this scene?
I don't fucking know.
Fucking no,
Oh
man.
my god. So what about Elise pulling the robot out of her fucking crotch or whatever you said?
Rabbit pulls a rabbit from behind her belt.
From her crotch?
From her crotch?
No,
Wow, she was having
That's
a good
robot
time
of
out
this
there.
time period too.
You
Elena
said-
cocks her eyebrow and just is like, I've seen it out of a hat.
To be
Boo.
fair, it is Darby that said out of the crotch. I said from behind her belt.
Okay, but you said that very slowly, okay? It's not my
no,
fault.
sorry.
So it looks like it's over. Sorry, is it? Did where the robots win?
Oh god. We don't know. It was round 2 and basically covered.
Oh, Lord. You're all fired.
Yeah, round 1, the Japanese
Also,
robot
sports
literally
ball.
just knocked this shit over. Like, it just charged with its fist straight
Alright,
out.
alright, alright,
Okay,
alright,
sorry.
alright. Talk about this.
It's a giant
We'll finish
adder.
the scene and then we will call the stream and then we can talk about robots for the next 30 minutes. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
You guys suck.
Elena takes the rabbit, runs back, end scene.
Okay.
No. No, don't roll with that, GM. No.
I mean, if that's all she wants to do, she doesn't want to confront Elise at the spot, then that's fine. Okay.
Is there no? Elena would like take the rabbit and then kind of shift her weight from foot to foot, kind of looking around and like still kind of grinding her teeth a little bit. Is there a reason that you came so far out for hunting?
Well, you can't exactly get one close to camp. I mean, you don't see deer walking through camp all that often, do you? Storch is loud enough to keep most of the game away from here for several miles. Let alone Bertolt and Zygmunt yesterday was yelling about his horse and some adder he was going to slay. And, well, it wasn't helping my hunting at all.
I just want to yell at her so bad, but I'm not going to do that because it seems. Elena would just kind of sigh, shake her head like she's kind of sad or disappointed about something, and just be like, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I'm sorry. Are you going to stay out here a little longer, or should I head back with this? She lifts her arm up and just kind of dangles the rabbit a little bit by the ears. This thing.
Well, I still have several hours left before sundown. I'll be okay. Not my first time in the woods alone.
All right then. She shrugs and just kind of turns on the ball of her foot and starts heading back in the general direction of camp. Looking kind of confused at first, circles around again, and then heads back in the general direction of where her footsteps went.
All right. So, Bertolt, Zygmunt, Jurgen, what else do you want to do in town? Are you going to just head on back? Are you going to stay the night and head back in the morning? Are you going to go back tonight? What's your plan?
I mean, weren't we going to meet people? Real quick talk. Were we going to meet people so that we would arrive there in the morning, or were we meeting people to leave in the morning? Because I know
It
we
sounds
made a
like
couple.
people are meeting us in the morning, so
People are meeting you next morning.
Okay, then.
Or
just...
Brita, if she's the only person at camp.
Apparently,
Okay, so-
I am. So
So I guess should we head back then, since they're going to go to the camp directly?
we should probably head back. I mean,
Yeah.
we left at first light, 6 hours, probably, another 6 hours in town and then 6 hours back.
Yeah.
Be a long
Okay.
day, but we'll get some sleep.
Definitely doable.
Yep.
You do have horses at least. You're not having to
Yeah.
walk all that way.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So you'll head back onto the road. At the camp, the Order of St. Hubert is there, sort of camping alongside, but not with the rest of your group. They seem to keep to themselves, mostly taking notes. They keep handing off those big books between them and taking certain pages and swapping it back and forth. One of them seems to wait around by the entrance to the mine as the Collectors Guild starts pulling resources out. He almost seems to be counting jars just to see how much fluids were in this thing. But they all seem a little antsy. They all seem to want to have their time with the body of the beast. But so far, the Collectors Guild, either out of spite, past experience, or something more, has done an admirable job keeping them completely out of the mine. Though you can tell they're very tempted. Elena, you'd arrive several hours after leaving Elise and find this whole new group of campers alongside you.
Elise would Elena would kind of be moving a little bit on the slow side, kind of just shuffling along and have a pretty serious look on her face, brows furrowed, like she's trying to think of something particularly intense. Just kind of swinging the rabbit by the ears as she walks.
Burrito would look up at her and just be like, "Where the hell did you run off to?"
Circumstance roll, Elena. As you're spinning the rabbit, the ears, the skin sloughs off, and the rabbit goes flying at you.
Can Brita catch it?
You sure can. You can roll for it.
Ugh. Watch me fail as he gets smacked in the face with it.
Phlegmatic.
Hey! She
You
catches
just
it and
literally
chucks it back
catch
at
out
her.
here.
No, she doesn't.
And then put
chuck
on a
back.
spit.
But
Elena
she
kinda-
catches the rabbit and looks very offended to have it be thrown at her face.
Elena's eyebrows kind of raise, like, I didn't mean to do that. And she kind of looks at the skin that's still kind of dangling from her hand, and then she looks back to Burrito and is like, getting that. She points.
You went hunting?
Yeah.
And she looks dead at her and goes, "With what weapon?"
Well, some string.
Elena.
She shrugs and just goes, "What?" You
Where'd you get a rabbit?
you can make an effective trap with string and some twigs, Brita. It's not that hard. And she, starts acting a little hoity-toity.
And Brita then lifts up this rabbit, and can I say that using her knowledge of medicine, she would be able to see if this rat was snared in a trap? If this rabbit?
No, it was certainly not. There is a very, very obvious arrow wound just behind the back of the head.
Then she will walk up towards Elena, hold it up at eye level, and stick her finger in the hole.
You feel brains.
I'm sure I do.
Wiggle your finger.
Shut up, Locust.
Elena furrows her brow like, huh. Man, your grip is really strong. How'd that happen?
Elena!
She's just trolling you.
Britta's very tired of this shit. She's like, look, if you're running off to go do something that we don't know about, I can't threaten you with everything, but I'm gonna tell the rest of the folks, and they're gonna have to deal with you however they see fit, because I'm not up for this right now.
Oh, all right. Can you let Jurgen know then? She kind of
Yes.
waggles her eyebrows like, yeah.
Brita just kind of huffs and shoves this rabbit corpse back into her hands and just kind of fucks off.
Elena, now dripping with rabbit blood and guts in her hands, just kind of looks at the corpse in her hands and looks off at Brita and is like, all right, thanks. She goes off to find a cook to butcher this.
Which she would not have much trouble with. The rest of the day is fairly quiet until the boys return.
Brita's gonna meet them because she's got a lot of shit to talk about.
All right. Well, I think that'd be a great place to start next week's session. Thank you all for joining us as we sort of shake a little bit of the rust off after a few weeks. And join us again as things ramp up towards the end of Season 2. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good
evening.
night.
Enjoy giant robots, everybody.